Everyone, so I can see that everyone's desperate to get going, so let's start. Yeah, so today we're going to be looking at a writing task 1, which is describing a map and looking at changes in the future. So I'll just be going through that. Okay, so the aims of this webinar are, by the end of the webinar, you'll be able to identify key features of a map, write a clear introduction, overview and body paragraph, use passive forms to describe proposed changes, and accurately describe locations using prepositions. Okay, so as Jamie says, it's not such a common question, but you do often have to look at future structures in task 1, so it's useful in that sense. Okay, so the task overview. So as you can see, you've got 2 images there. So one is present, University Sports Centre in the present, and then the future plans for this University Sports Centre. Okay, and here is the title for the task. The plans below show the layout of a University Sports Centre now and how it will look after redevelopment. Okay, so what you're basically doing is describing. So as you know, it's 150 words for task 1. And how long should you spend on that? 20 minutes, yes, good. So you all know, so it's 20 minutes. And you should be summarizing the information by selecting the key features. Okay, so I think this is the kind of task that some people will look at and they'll really panic. I mean, probably me included actually, if I had to do this, because you really need to understand what's going on in the map. So you need to devote a little bit of time just to working out what it's about. So first of all, what does this map describe? So any answers? What does this map describe? A University Sports Centre, university buildings. That's right, so that's basically what it's about. Yeah, buildings. So that's the first thing. What's the time period? Present and future, that's right. So how will this affect the language you use? What kind of language should you use? You should use the future tense. Yes, anything else? Present and future tense, yeah. So, well, present tense, which present do you think you should use? Yeah, present simple, that's right. So most of you are saying that. The future is slightly different, so it's really testing your knowledge of future tenses. So there are a few different future tenses that you can use here, or future, I should say future structures that you can use. So we'll be looking at those in a minute. Okay, so now identifying the key features. Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to focus on present and the future. Okay, so have a look at the map and what changes can you see there? How does it change from the present to the future? Okay, no more outdoor courts, Stephen, that's right. Anything else? Facilities are expanded. Yeah, the gym is bigger, so it's getting bigger. Yeah, so that's the main thing. Outdoor to pool, yeah, more changing rooms. Cafe added. Yeah, so as you can see in the future, there are lots of changes. The main thing is that it's got a lot bigger. It's become a lot bigger. The outdoor courts are no longer there. Yeah, there are a few other facilities. So once you've worked out what the changes are, you need to think about what are the most important changes. So I think some of you said it's getting bigger. That's the main thing. It's getting bigger. What do you think another important change might be? Left and right, though, the gym's got bigger, it's more organized, more facilities. Yeah, more facilities. So if you look at the first picture, everything, sorry, there are 2 outdoor courts, whereas in the second picture, everything is kind of inside. So that is another major change. So then thinking about how to group them together. Okay, so what you can do, and what we're going to do, and it's probably the easiest thing to do, is to have the present situation in one paragraph, and then the future situation in another paragraph. So I just put up that before, but one thing, in the present situation, as we said before, it's smaller. Okay, so the future is going to be bigger, obviously. So another change for the present, outdoor courts, which we mentioned before, and fewer facilities. Okay, so the future is going to be the opposite of that. So it's bigger, everything is inside. Okay, and then the last one. So the last one, so there are more facilities, such as pool, sports hall, and dance studio. Okay, so now I just want to look at the structure. So how many paragraphs do you think you need for this essay question? So some of you are saying 3, 4, some are saying 2, okay, 4. Yeah, so it's going to be 4 paragraphs. First one, as usual, as for all the other essay questions, the introduction. What do you do in the introduction? Yeah, I win, yeah. Well done, Navneet. So the introduction, yeah, paraphrase. So some of you know this, most of you should know this, I think. You state what the maps show by paraphrasing the title. We're also giving you in the structure how many sentences you should use. Okay, so 1 or 2 sentences. The second part is an overview. What does the word overview mean? Most important features, yeah. Yeah, sort of a general overall statement, that's right. So it's a little bit like a summary of the main points, really. So a general statement about 2 to 3 key changes. So it's the main things that have changed. And that would have 2 to 4 sentences. Okay, and then the third paragraph, body A. Yes, what does that include, body A? Present map. Yeah, in this case, it would be the present. So it's describing one group of specific changes, but we're going to be talking about the present situation in that paragraph, and that's 3 to 5 sentences. And then body B is going to be the past. Okay, so it's really similar. Again, 3 to 5 sentences. Okay, so now just going back to the whole thing. So look, writing an introduction. So just looking at the title again. The plans below show the layout of a university sports centre now and how it will look after redevelopment. So as we said before, you need to paraphrase that. How can you paraphrase? What can you change? Synonyms is the first thing, yeah. Yeah, good. So you're jumping ahead already, it's well done. Word order, yeah, word form. There's one other thing you could do, using the passive, that's right, Kiki, good. Okay, so we've got the ways of paraphrasing on the left there. And then thinking about how to paraphrase this question. So we'll just break it down. Okay, so one of you said this before, the plans. Okay, so I'm just highlighting everything we're going to change. So the plans, illustrate, yes, good. So illustrate is probably the best synonym to use here. So illustrate the, as you can see, now is highlighted there. So which word could you use instead of now? So recent is slightly different, Sky. Present layout, current. Yeah, I would say current is probably the most appropriate, it's most academic. The current layout of, okay, sorry, I put this in for you. So the sports complex of a university. So as you can see, that's really using almost the same words as are underlined there, a university sports centre. Okay, and the next word, and, can you think of how you could, sorry, a synonym you could use there for and? As well as, yeah, as well as is a good one, that would make sense. Okay, also slightly different, we're sort of looking for a conjunction. Okay, so we used along with. How it will look after redevelopment. Okay, so as you can see, that how it will look after redevelopment, that's 6 words. So we've used 3 words, proposed future improvements, which mean exactly the same. But I think it's a lot more concise. So remember, in academic English, ideally you need to use as few words as possible to be as concise as possible. So you've got some nice examples there. Some of them are a little bit too wordy. Remember, you need to be able to communicate in this kind of simple way, really, if you can. Okay, so now moving on to the overview. So you've got the basic details there. So the present, as we said before, smaller outdoor courts, fewer facilities, whereas in the future, everything is bigger, everything is inside, and there are more facilities such as pool, sports hall, and dance studio. So in order to achieve a band 6 or more, so I think probably most of you are aiming for that, you have to include an overview, so this is quite important. In the overview, you have to summarize the key changes and the most important features in 1 to 3 sentences. Okay, so it's important to remember not to go into detail. So Nori is saying, I think it's about easy vocabulary. It's about being, it's about communicating clearly, really, I would say. And in the overview, just don't put in too much detail. Otherwise, you're going to put in detail that should be included in the body paragraphs. So then you would end up repeating yourself, which you shouldn't do. Okay, and then if you start with a word like overall, it's probably the best word to start with there. Okay, so overall, so just have a look at the gaps that we've left in these sentences here. See if you can fill them in. So overall, sports centre is likely to expand. Yeah, I think that makes sense there. Projected to expand, that sort of makes sense, but it's not very natural. Expected is a good one, Tran. Going to, okay, we don't know for sure that it will, so that's why expected is probably better. So the sports centre is expected to expand significantly. The outdoor courts, okay, so which word makes sense here? Something in place will be removed. As you can see, the outdoor courts are there now. Yeah, originally would mean before, but another word for now. So not previously, Darius, that means in the past. No, another one? Currently, Nicholas, that's right. So currently in place will be removed. So remember, we're only looking at the present and the future, so don't think about the past. And, okay, so we need another verb here. So something with new something facilities. Replaced, Nicholas, good. With new Indoor facilities, yes. So the opposite of outdoor. Okay, and then some examples. So which word, which phrase could you use there? It could be including, actually. That would probably make sense. Or such as, that's okay. Okay, so that was the overview. So now moving on to body paragraphs. Okay, so it's important that you group details together to make a logical flow. So to make a logical flow, what's another word for that? What are you trying to achieve? Beginning with C. Coherence, good. Yeah, so that is one of the criteria, or as part of one of the criteria, coherence and cohesion. And then different ways to organize details. So it could be by the type of change, by importance, location, or what we're going to do is by present description and future plans. So I would say that's, if you've got this kind of map, you've got, you know, present and the future, or possibly present and past. It's probably the easiest way to do it because everything is together in one diagram. It's nice and easy for you. You've got the paragraph here. You just need to put in the right words. Okay, so we've got the location words at the side. So just have a quick look at that and see if you can help me to fill in the words there. Okay, so at present, an entrance on the south side of the building. That's right, yes, the south side of the building. And something, a reception area. Yes, leads into, good. So it leads into a reception area. Okay, what do you think the next word might be? Behind, yeah, good. So behind this is a 25-meter indoor pool, which has a changing room and seating area. Okay, so it's got to be a word. Yeah, it's got to be a word on that side. Yeah, at the rear. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. On either side, I'm looking at the wrong part there. On either side. And a gym at the rear. So at the rear just means behind. Yeah, or at the back is another way of saying that. Finally, something, the main building, or 2 outdoor courts. Yeah, outside the main building are 2 outdoor courts situated on the, so it's got to be that one, yes, Hitesh, east and west side respectively. Okay, so that's a perfect body paragraph there. So then thinking about where you would start, okay, because that could be the most difficult thing. So as it says here, begin with a logical starting point. So obviously if you're entering a building, the logical starting point would be where? Yeah, the entrance, good. So an entrance, make the time clear. Okay, how do we make the time clear in this paragraph? Which phrase shows the time? At present, that's right, good. And then, okay, it sounds obvious, but I mean, sometimes people really mix up the tenses, but because it's you're looking at the present, it has to be the present tense. So which present tense verbs can you see there? Leads, yes, and is, has, are. Okay, so they're fairly simple verbs, simple verb forms. And it's only the present simple you're using here, not present continuous. Okay, and then use pronouns and linkers to connect features and add detail. So which pronouns can you see? This is one, yes. Any others? Yeah, which, good. Okay, so you've got this and which, and then the linkers are and, finally, and respectively. Okay, so what does that create by adding these linkers? Yeah, it creates flow. It's coherence, and it's also, yeah, another word for connection. Cohesion, Stephen, thank you, that's right. Okay, so now looking at body paragraph B. So this is looking at the future. And we're just going to look at some structures you can use to talk about the future. So the university will build a changing room. Which tense is that? Future simple, yeah. So that's the easiest one to use, really. Future simple. Going to replace. Okay, so that's just going to plus the verb. They are planning. Which tense is that? And near, yeah, present continuous. That's right, present continuous for the future. And then we have two other ones that are commonly used for the future. So they expect to build a new leisure pool. And then this one as well, they are set to remove. They're set to, that is really quite a formal academic expression. So it's great if you can use one of those structures. Okay, so and now I would like to look at how you can put these verbs into the passive. So why do we use passive in academic English? What's the purpose? Formal, Mohammed, yes. It's formal, grammar diversity, that's true, that's another reason. Anything else? Any other reason? So it makes your writing more formal, it makes your writing more academic, it creates an impersonal stance, and as I think Mohammed said, grammar diversity, so it just creates puts in a variety of different structures, so it makes your writing more interesting. Yeah, so to get back to this, so the university will build a changing room, will be built, yes. A new changing room will be built, that's right. Okay, and the next one. Centre is going to replace the outdoor courts. Will be, it's like will be replaced, but are going to be replaced. Sorry, it's some more. Yeah, are going to be replaced. They are planning a new sports hall. Mohammed, yeah, is being planned. That's correct. It says actually planned here, but yeah, either is okay. So it is being planned or is planned. So is planned would be present simple, is being planned is present continuous. They expect to build a new leisure pool. Is expected to be built, that's right. Okay, so this should really be, this should be a leisure pool, sorry. A new leisure pool is expected to be built. They are set to remove the outdoor courts. Are set to be removed, that's right. The outdoor courts are set to be removed. Okay, so as you can see, and as probably most of you know, the subject, the person that is actually doing the thing, doing the action, isn't mentioned there because they're not really important. So it's like the short passive using here. Okay, and then just looking again at useful language for describing changes. Centre is set to remove the outdoor courts. The outdoor courts. So this is really consolidation. The outdoor courts are set to be removed, that's right. You can also use a noun form. The proposed changes will include, so which noun form could you use? Okay, removal. Yeah, removal is right. If you use that, you would have to use definite articles. You'd have to say the removal of, but that makes sense. Or moving is the same. But yeah, you can use either removing the outdoor courts or the removal of outdoor courts. So that creates a nice long phrase, and that's another feature of academic English. So it's good if you can include some. Okay, and then the university. Okay, expects build. So it's using that structure again. Expects to build a new leisure pool and changing room. The passive. Yeah, no, is it? So it's two things. So not is expected, are expected to be built. Yeah. Okay, and then again using a noun form. So which word goes in there? The something redevelopment good, or it, well, actually proposed makes sense. Expected redevelopment, planned redevelopment. So they're all absolutely fine. The expected redevelopment will involve building. That's right. So building a large leisure pool and changing room. Okay, and then you need a verb in here. So the university is planning to build, good build sense, develop, kind of okay. Construct is okay. Any others? Establish is okay. We've chosen create. Okay, so to create a new sports hall with 2 dance studios. So the passive, the something of a new sports hall, creation, good. So the creation of a new sports hall with 2 dance studios. How would you finish that? Is planned, good. Yeah, so it's got to be is because it's one thing. And then again, using a noun form, the something improvements, the future improvements, expected, planned, yes. Predicted, okay, they're all really good, they're great. So any of those would work. Planned improvements will include creating a new sports hall with 2 dance studios, good. Okay, so focusing on future plans. Regarding the proposed developments, the outdoor courts are set to be what? Removed, good. Yeah, removed, and the building will. Okay, so another verb in here. Include, or yeah, include. Well, include is slightly different. Is it sort of repeating it because you're already saying enclose, but become is probably better. Become a fully enclosed sports facility. Okay, while the 25-meter pool will remain the same. Good, everyone knows that, great. Will remain the same. A large leisure pool with an something change room. Additional, okay, so it's saying another changing room is, and then it's this, yeah, I was going to say it's another future structure there, so it's set as expected to be built. In the west. Okay, which part of the complex? The west what? In the west side. Okay, you could say on the other side of the complex or in the west part. Okay, there's another word that, yeah, almost, somebody almost got it. One, yeah, wing, that's right. In the west wing of the complex. So what's the opposite of the west wing? The east wing, yeah. A planned sports hall will include, yes, that's right, include dance studios and what kind of changing room? Yeah, it's actually similar to additional. Can you think of another word, a synonym for that? So a synonym for additional. An extra, actually that's okay, it's a little bit informal. Okay, this word, further. Okay, it's quite academic to say further instead of another. Further changing room. There are also something for a sports shop. Good try, not space. Plans or proposals, that's right. Proposals for a sports shop and what else is there? That's right, a cafe in the reception area, good. Right, so just looking at body paragraph B. So again, you need to make the time clear. How do you do that? We've done that here. Which word shows that it's referring to the future? Proposed, good. That's right. Regarding the proposed developments. Okay, obviously we need to use future forms. So tenses, that's right. Yes, so will, quite a few future simple there. So will become, will remain, will include. Also these other structures, sort of higher level structures, are set to be removed. Is expected to be built. So try to use a variety of those structures if you can. And then again, use pronouns, adjectives, and linkers to connect features and add some detail. So we've got and, again, we've got while, also, okay, and then we've got additional, further, same. Okay, what does that all create again? What does that create within the essay? Yeah, yeah, cohesion, that's right. Good, so this is the final essay, which I think is a band 9. I need to check with Jamie. So just some tips for you. Don't start writing straight away. Make sure that you make a plan. Another thing is to make sure you don't spend more than 20 minutes on task 1. So it can be easy just to, to panic and to start writing, spending too much time. And then you haven't got enough time for task 2. Another thing is not to count your words. Okay, so if you can work out roughly how many words you would include per line, you should really know. Make sure you leave some time to check. Okay, and then make sure you practice. So there's about 150 words here, I think. 161, it says at the bottom. I think, was that the number? Was that the slide number, Jamie? I'm not sure. Yeah, this bands, I think this will get 9. Right. Yeah, I haven't counted them, but I just wasn't sure if that was the slide number or the number of words.
Yeah, excellent. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Mary, for that presentation.
That's okay.
Great, well done. And yeah, thank you guys for your suggestions and your answers there. That was really impressive to see some of your example answers. So great job. Guys, I can see that you've got a lot of questions already in the chat. That's great. if you can put them into the Q&A function for now, we'll be able to answer some of your questions in the Q&A session we're about to have. So any questions you have, if you can copy them over to the Q&A, and we'll discuss them in a moment. Okay, so thanks very much for that. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Diana. Thanks for the feedback. That's great to hear. Thank you, Vu, as well. Always nice to hear positive feedback from you guys. So before we look at some of your questions, I would just like to do a bit of promotion for our additional services that we offer on our website, IELTSonlinetest.com. We offer a writing and speaking evaluation service. So if you are interested in improving your writing, you can submit an essay, it could be task 1, task 2, or both, onto our website. One of our examiners, a qualified examiner, will go through your writing and give you a very detailed report, making all your corrections from your mistakes, pointing out areas that you can improve, where your strengths and weaknesses are, and hopefully that can help you to improve your band score in your writing. We also offer a similar service for speaking as well. So you can book a mock test with a speaking examiner. It might be me, it could be another one of our team, and we'll go through the speaking test with you and give you very detailed feedback on your performance. So if you do have your test coming up, you want some additional support, that's something you might like to look at. That's available on our website, IELTSonlinetest.com. You can find that out on our website, Afnana. That's all the details are in the links I've just put there. We also have a video course for reading and listening now. It's available on our site. If you're interested in that, check out the links. It's called IELTS Explained, and we go through different reading and listening tests, showing you strategies for all the different question types. So yeah, you can check that out if you're interested. So, but now that we've got that out the way, I think we can take a look at some of these questions. So, yeah, Mary, if you're ready to go, I will.
Yeah, sure.
I'll see if I can find. Well, we'll take a look at some of these questions. We've got a question here from Harmon, which is very, very general, but maybe we can give it a go. Harmon says, "Hey, how to write effectively?"
Quite broad. How to write effectively?
Yeah.
Well, I think I would say as I was saying earlier, don't try to be too clever. Really try and the purpose is to communicate. So I think it's better to write in a more simple way and make sure you're getting everything right, not to try and over impress the examiner.
Yeah.
But obviously, you do need a certain range of lexis, range of vocabulary and grammar. So you need to consider that. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. If I could maybe suggest as well, I absolutely agree with you there, Mary. I think it's a very general question, Harmon. You could check out some of our writing webinars on YouTube where we go through different task types, different approaches for different questions. And that can help you get a better idea of some of the writing skills. I think it's such a general question, it might be difficult to answer to do it justice. Okay, so I've put the links to that in the chat for our YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out. All right, good question, a bit more specific here from Jason. How many minutes do we recommend to spend on the planning stage prior to writing?
I would suggest 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes, something like that. Because if you create a good plan, you shouldn't have to spend too long writing it, and it's going to be clear. So I think a lot of my students will just start writing immediately, and I always say not to do that because they tend to be the ones that don't do so well. So I would say 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. To get a clear plan before you start writing, really, really important. Maybe for task 2, you could spend a bit longer. For task 1, maybe a bit less, but based on the time that you need. Naureen is asking, can we get the PowerPoint for this presentation? Sorry, Naureen, we don't have a way to share the PowerPoint with you, but you'll be able to watch the recording on our YouTube channel. So you can rewatch the webinar. You can go through all the details there. And I can see a question from Aishwara. Is asking, how can I get my writing reviewed? Aishwara, if you're interested in that, we do have a writing evaluation service on our website. I'm just putting the link to that in the chat just now. Okay, let's see. A question here from Liang about writing task 1. Can we write the overview and put it right after the first sentence rather than having it as a separate paragraph?
I think you can, I would say. I mean, I would probably put it as a separate paragraph just to make it clearer, but I think you probably can. Would you say, Jamie?
Yeah,
or not?
I'd absolutely agree. I think it's okay to put them together, but just to make it very clear for the examiner and to show that you can, do clear paragraphing, I would put them as 4 separate paragraphs, having the introduction as a separate paragraph. But I don't think you'd lose marks if they're together or not, but it might just help with your paragraphing. Okay, excellent. Let's see, we've got a question from Iman Al-Faraj, who is asking, can we write more than 150 words? So the word count is 150. Is it okay to write more than 150?
Well, you have to write at least 150. I think it's okay to go slightly over. I'm not sure how much up to another. Is it another 10%?
There actually isn't an upper limit for the writing, so you can write as many words over the word count as you like. And you won't be penalized for that. The only thing you might want to think about is you need the time to write quality rather than quantity. So it's better not to write too much, but just to focus on writing clearly and explaining things fully. If you write too much for task 1, you won't have any time left for task 2. So yeah, that's the main thing to be aware of. Okay, let's see. Got a question here from Vi Mai is asking, how can I organize the body paragraphs logically? So,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on whether it's referring particularly to this task or tasks in general. I mean, in tasks in general, I would say just make sure you've got a very clear first sentence, a clear topic sentence. And if structure is something you struggle with, maybe think about writing your topic sentences first and then coming back and filling in the other details. So at least it will be logical and easy to follow. Yeah, absolutely. If I could just add to that as well, I think it depends on the task type, but when you're describing a map, there are a couple of different ways you could organize it. You could split the map into the body paragraphs, like body paragraph A describe the present tense, the present situation. Body paragraph B describe the future. Within the paragraph, you can think about, okay, what are the main changes, like the most important, the most obvious? Describe them first, and then later in the paragraph, describe the least important changes or the minor changes. You can also describe it by location, so you can kind of move your way around the map from west to east or from north to south. So these are different. There are different approaches, and there's not just one correct way, but
if you have a clear logic that the examiner can see, then you'll be marked up for that. Okay, excellent. Let's see. We've got a few questions here. Question from Anonymous. They're asking, are we advised to use the passive voice more than the active voice?
I wouldn't say necessarily more than the active voice. I think if you just use the passive, it makes your writing almost too formal. So I would suggest mixing it up and showing the examiner that you know different structures. And as I was saying earlier, just putting a variety of different structures, verb forms in your writing, just make it more interesting to read as well. So I think you need to show that you do know the passive, but not just using that all the way through it.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree with that. So yeah, let's see, guys, if you do have questions, you're asking in the chat, if you can add them to the Q&A. We're going to tackle these ones first, okay? Just to keep things fair. So let's take a look. Asana is asking, how do I revisit a lecture if I missed? Asana, they will all be available on our YouTube channel, and the link to that is available in the chat. So you'll be able to watch this webinar, and all our previous webinars are up on our YouTube channel as well. All right. Question from Honam. Honam is saying, can I write is expected to or was expected to if that happened in the past? So yeah, I see that.
I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe if you're using was expected to, it's more, I'm trying to think which question you might be able to use that in, which type. So was expected to, but it's when maybe a plan didn't turn out the way it was expected to. So when something didn't turn out as planned, you might use that and follow it up with but I'm trying to think how you might use that. What, Jamie, can you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's you're right in that example. I would agree with that. I think for the in the context of describing a map, you probably want to just stick with the present tense. It is expected to, because you're talking, your whole paragraph will be in the present tense and describing a future change. So you can say it will change to this. It is expected to change to that. You probably don't need to use the past tense, it was expected, just because you want to use the same tense more or less to keep your answer coherent and cohesive. So yeah, I would probably just stick with is expected rather than was expected in this case. Okay. Let's see, a question from Afnana about how to write a good conclusion. Afnana, do you mean for task 1, academic? Because if so, the good news is you don't have to write a conclusion for task 1. You only need to write a conclusion for task 2. So don't worry about writing conclusion for task 1. All the information in the conclusion will be in your overview for task 1. So if you do want to know how to write a good conclusion, you can check out our task 2 webinars, and we go into that in a lot of detail. Okay, let's see. We've got a question here from, just scrolling through to find some good questions here that will be helpful for everyone. I've got a question here from Aishwarya, who've said, I've taken the IELTS and I got 5.5 in writing. I really don't know what to do. How can I improve my score from 5.5 in writing?
There are lots of things you can do.
Yeah.
Personally, I would probably look at the criteria. So just really familiarize yourself with different areas that you'll be marked on. think about sort of achieving the task, cohesion, coherence, your vocabulary, and your grammar. So those 4 areas, and looking at what you need. Maybe look at a particular band and then think about what you need to do to achieve that band. And then look at, there's a lot of example answers online, and I'm sure on our website as well. If you sign up for that service, so then you can see what, you know, the difference between different bands.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree. It's very difficult to give you specific feedback without seeing your writing. You know, one thing to do is to focus on structure, structuring your essay appropriately. Another thing would be to using a wider range of forms, improving your grammar, using less common vocabulary as well. But without seeing an example of your writing, it's difficult to know which of those areas you should be focusing on. You could check out more of our Task 2 webinars. You might get some ideas from that as well. Okay, I can see a question from Prathni Thada is asking, is the writing evaluation service, is this a lifetime service too? We have different packages available, Pranith. So you can purchase like 1 evaluation for an essay, 1 for task 1 and task 2. You can purchase multiple ones as well. I don't think we have an option for lifetime infinite essay, but we do. I think it's like 5 you can get as a package, and you get some kind of discount for that as well. The details are on our website. I'll put the link to that in a moment. Let's see. Question from Handy. Handy is asking, how can I count the words without losing a lot of time?
Well, I mean, as I said before, I probably wouldn't try and count the words. I would just, you know, if you practice enough beforehand and know roughly how many words you write in a line, or you include in a line, you should know how many lines roughly you're going to write. So maybe count the lines rather than the words, because you will waste time doing that and you haven't got much time.
Yeah, definitely. If I could just add to that as well, you might want to download the official IELTS answer sheet as well from the IELTS website. And then you can practice writing your answer using the official answer paper. And that will help you to see how many, how many lines you need to write, 150 words or 250 words. And then you can count the lines in the exam and you'll know how many you've done. Another option would be to take the computer-based IELTS, because then when you do the writing, it will give you a word count as well. So you don't need to worry about counting your words. The computer will do it for you. Okay, so a couple of options there for you handy. Yep, Narid's saying you're going to go for the computer-based. Probably good idea. Okay. Guys, I'm afraid we are coming up to the end of the session today, so we're not going to have time for, to get through the rest of your questions. However, you can send them in to us via our YouTube channel. If you want to comment on the video, it will be up on our YouTube channel tomorrow. So you can take a look there, post any questions you have, and we will be answering them via YouTube. You can also send them in to our Facebook page as well. And I'm just putting the links to that in the chat. So yeah, you can please check out our YouTube channel, check out our Facebook page. If you could like, subscribe, that will help us to keep offering these webinars for free. So thanks very much, guys. Nice to hear from you. Yeah. And
thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Big thank you, Mary, for presenting today. Thanks for talking.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Awesome.
Good luck with your IELTS, anyone doing exams soon as well. Hope you do well.
Really excellent. I hope you get a bit cooler weather as well.
Yeah, I think it's changing tomorrow. Thankfully, it's too hot.
Next one, you get a bit more comfortable for next time. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Best of luck. We'll see you again soon. Okay. Cheers.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Great.